Now,
Facebook.
hello and welcome to Canton Radio. We're doing another live stream event. We are here on the 5th of July, and we are having our special guest in the studio. That's where we have the webcam set up. So we're going to be starting in just a few seconds. So we'll make sure it's all good, and then we're good to go. Make sure and we're good to go. Phones on silent. We are recording.
The odds of him having 15 career
Strong like bull.
1 in 1.7 million.
Oh my God.
The odds of his child being diagnosed with autism.
Sure, wreck the whole place what we can.
It was a rough one.
I got nothing here.
Autism Speaks.
No sound?
/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad
No sound?
Now,
I'm so glad we left that stupid party. We had chilled. Are you over here library? Because you got fire written all over you.
There's a slow.
you guys getting any?
It's ridiculous. She's finished.
I got nothing. You got? I got nothing.
Oh my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay? Come on.
Yeah.
Can you bend it? It's already bent in the wrong direction.
I need one of those.
I only had a few drinks.
I would have been like,
Really? That's right.
Is that better? No, better.
oh, look at that.
My arm is fine.
Is that better?
I don't know. No, give me that one.
You're
Yeah,
serious?
try that one.
No, genius. I'm not serious.
Yeah, this is live, alright.
No. Take one of those.
No?
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
Third,
We go on yet or no?
over 80 years. Thank you for listening to the station that serves your community. AM 1240
Yeah.
WGBB.com and 1240 WGBB Freeport.
Wait.
Which one's which?
The views expressed in the following
Hello.
program do not necessarily represent those of the staff, management, or owners of WGBB.
You're hearing things from this?
Yes.
The following
I got
is
it.
brought to you in part by MFC Studios. The views and opinions of the show's hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the owners, management,
You hear that,
or
Bill?
staff of
I
WGBB.
just gave her
And
away
now,
2 weeks ago. That's
it
my
came
daughter.
from
Just
the
had a
radio.
wedding.
Congrats.
She's a bride, a 2-week-old bride.
Hello and welcome once again to Canton Radio. This is your host, Mark Torres speaking. I have a full house on this holiday weekend, 4th of July weekend. Today is the 5th of July, but I have a full house in the studio. I have our senior correspondent, Charles Saladino.
How's everybody doing? I just figured I'd say that right.
I know I also have our traveling correspondent, Hassan Gawad, on the phone. Say hi, Hassan.
Hi, Tom.
There you go. But in the studio, I have a special guest that's going to be sitting with us through the entire show. We have Adana Velez. Say hi.
Hi, hello everyone.
And then we have Eric Hutchinson. Say hi.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
There you go. So we're going to be talking to, about, and with them in just a few minutes, but I have to do my normal spiel.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Do about and with them.
Yes. So if anybody's having any trouble listening to us on the air, they can go online to www.am1240wgbbb.com and listen to us on the live audio streaming. Also on the GBB website, you can see us on the webcam, which is right now, and high definition. And we're also broadcasting on the Ustream right now on the webcam, but we're recording that and it's going to be up on our YouTube page once we are done. Okay, so I'm just going to take it away with the news. I have a couple of quick items, but the news, as always, is brought to you in part by the fine folks at the Big Apple Con, which celebrated their 20th anniversary this past March, and they're also promoting the WinterCon, which is coming up in December. They're already selling tickets, as far as I know, at www.nycbm.com. Also, Mike Carbonaro is still doing the Donuts and Comics, where he's giving away. We're going to be going to a live event at a donut shop in Queens right now. We already decided it's going to be in Queens. It's going to be, he says it's going to be in September. That's what we're doing right now, is September. And he's going to give away free donuts, free coffee, free comics, and for the first 12 people who register, he'll do free comic book appraisals, which is awesome. And for more information on that, go to www.nycbm.com. I think that's the entire spiel I have. Oh, No, that's it. Yeah, that's my entire spiel. I thought I had something else later. All right, so let's see.
You had more spiel, but you realized.
Yeah, I forgot that we're in July, so the contest is over. So we're going to be announcing the winner to the contest next week's show for the piece of artwork that our Brian Conn did at the live stream event we did at Royal Collectibles. So we're going to be doing that. So anybody who it's too late now, so I'm not even going to explain the contest. But I'll tell the winner next week.
They won.
Yes, you'll know next week if you won. All right, so let's see. Some simple.
You have little appeal.
Yes, thank
Hold
you.
on.
Take it away with something that's.
We have friend of the show news. I want to make sure I mention this. It's very important. Friend of the show, Lee Kalinsky, his movie, Junkie Heaven, will be playing at the Long Island International Film Expo on Sunday, July 12th at 9:30 p.m., located at Belmore Movies at 222 Pettit Avenue in Belmore, New York. John
Not
Hazley.
to be confused with the.
Thank you, Hassan, you caught that.
Yes, the rat. Yes, the red bastards at Belmore 20.
Oh my God! You had to bring that up, right?
Yes,
That's
yes. Who practice unscrupulous legal.
Yes, and how much did they try you for?
They were $50 for a lug nut.
$50 for a lug nut. Those big lugs.
Also for the Junkie Heaven, the star of the movie, Joe Hazley, will be offering a free acting workshop on Sunday at 2:30 to 3:30. So you can go for the acting workshop for free and then go see the movie afterwards. For more information, go to www.facebook.com/JunkieHeavenMovie. That's JunkieHeavenMovie.
Well done.
Also, more friend of the show news. Our good friend, Chris Pasquarelli, author of The Destiny Reveal, is doing a book signing at the Book Review in Huntington on Wednesday, August 5th at 7 p.m. So for more information on that, we'll be signing pick up a book of his Destiny Reveal trilogy, which he only has one of, the part one trilogy. You go to www.bookreview.com. That's REVUE.
I belong to bookreview.com.
All righty. Now that all that is done, I did want to mention this. All right, here we go. In the wake of the South Carolina shooting and the decision by several major retailers to stop selling merchandise featuring the Confederate battle flag, it was only a matter of time before the TV show Dukes of Hazzard will be brought into play. For those of you who do not know, remember, or even care, the TV show featured the iconic car of General Lee with the sport of the flag on its rooftop. Warner Brothers, who owns the franchise, says, the toys spanned by the hit TV series Dukes of Hazzard, including die-cast replicas and vehicle model kits featuring the General Lee with the Confederate flag on its roof, as is seen in the TV series, will no longer be produced. Of note, in most recent Auto Trader commercial featuring the original actors from the series, the General Lee simply isn't shown from the rooftop at all, so you can't even see if it has the flag. And this was done way back in 2014, so there was already some backslash on the flag. It's
I
kind
am
of
totally aggravated.
it's kind of
with this
went out
whole
all crazy.
thing. Yeah.
Usually we don't get into politics, but this kind of goes
Yeah,
into
no,
it's
I'm gonna
affecting
get into
the Dukes of
politics
Hazzard
on
in
this.
this situation. So,
Because
so what do you think about that, Charles?
I'm going to tell you what I think
Yes.
about that. This is what happens if you give, if you try to censor art. This is exactly what we're talking about. All right, maybe there's a valid point with flag, which there isn't, because the Civil War was about taxing, and which was about it was a money issue. When I read that they wanted to do away with Gone with the Wind, not show that movie, and I said, all right, now they jump in the shark. Now these bleeding heart liberals, and yeah, I said it, they're taking everything that they can, and they're trying to make a name for themselves through this incident that happened, through this crazy, I can't say the rest of the word, I want to, nut job, who insane nut job, who happened to have the Confederate flag there, and did this amazingly horrifying deed, which by my thing is, they should give the families just a bat and say, go do what you want. But that's just my justice.
You know,
yes, it does not. Yeah, I mean, just go there, and these poor people who were worshiping. But because this guy had a flag, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And it happened to be a Confederate flag, and it's all right, you want to do that, you want to take the flag, that's fine. If you want, don't start going on and on about all these other extra things. These are just people trying to make names for themselves. Like that gentleman in the Post, who I won't mention his name, who wrote about Gone with the Wind. Stop it. Stop it. You want to make me vomit now. Stop it. And then the Dukes of Hazzard. This is a whole thing. It's gonna, you know. Anyway, go ahead.
So Hassan, in your travels, have you had any experience with this whole thing?
Define experience.
Well, you know,
Have I-
on your travels, do you see about the whole Confederate flag and how?
Yeah,
And do you agree or disagree with them pulling the stop making the General Lee? And there's more on that, but let's start with that.
Look, I think that you should stop making the General Lee. However, I do not think that you should pretend that the General Lee or the Civil War never existed. I don't think you should pretend that the flag never existed. But since the flag has been co-opted as a symbol of, you know, aggressive, you know, non-inclusiveness, I guess you could say in a very peaceful way, then maybe you shouldn't be flying it over state houses.
Oh, agreed, right there.
I agree as
So,
well.
I mean, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch Dukes of Hazzard. I had to sneak and watch it, and I wasn't allowed to have a General Lee because my family was from South Carolina. So they were like, no, we're not. You know, I know that television show, and I know all your friends are watching it, but you can't watch it. You can't have. I'm not buying you a toy with the rebel flag on it. So I mean, the negativity of the rebel flag goes far back, far further back than this incident that happened. So I mean, that debate is ongoing. I don't know about that, but I think in lieu of all the craziness that's happened in this backlash, I can understand TV Land to go off and that they would stop making it. I mean, they're just going to do it until it blows over, and then they're going to just sneak it back out again. I don't make it. This is a false equivalent. It's kind of the same thing as a Twinkie. You know, so you're going away, everybody freaks out, Twinkie comes back very quietly.
And then
That's just kind of how it's going to work.
Right, and
That's how it's going to be.
it's a double-edged sword. You take you ban the General Lee. It's called the General Lee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, when does it stop? So now you don't you take General Lee out of the history books? It's you know, I don't know.
You can't erase that stuff.
Right.
But I mean, if you use it, if you merchandise it and symbolize it, stuff like that, the symbols, it's co-opted. It's like the Hindu, the Nazi flag with the Hindu symbol of peace and unity, and it was co-opted by Nazi Germany, and so therefore it doesn't really fly anymore to use that because it's a representation of a really terrible ordeal in our history. So, you know, whatever argument there is for it, the visual reaction to it dictates whether we should see it or not. That's pretty much what I think is the law of the day. But I don't think you can erase Civil War. I think you should stop showing Gone with the Wind. I don't think you should pretend that the General Lee never existed. I don't think any of that.
Well, that's what they're doing. They also pulled the show
Right, well,
off
this
of
is my
TV,
this is my
off, but
you know,
they-
I said it very Brooklyny. Hassan said it very eloquently, but I'm just
The only thing I can say about this
What is that?
I just want to get my own opinion. I think because they shouldn't make new General Lees, they shouldn't promote it now, but it did exist. So let's say if they decided to make, I don't know, a historically accurate show back in the day, Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan.
Right? They like if they brought that back, they're saying, we shouldn't have Hogan's Heroes, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that.
Good point, because it's exactly, if you have to make a Nazi movie, if you have to, you have to show those flags.
No more Blazing Saddles because it's springtime for Hitler.
Yeah,
no more.
if you have to make a Civil War movie, what are they going to do?
So that's where I stand.
It's history.
It's there.
It's part
of history.
It's
They're
there.
trying to erase it.
As long as it's portrayed in the correct light, then we should be good about it.
I agree.
So you want to have a quick?
Yeah, I mean, as a
you were so
Southern,
quiet.
I'm a Southern boy. I'm listening to all of these things. I'm from Louisiana. New Orleans. I'm only in Long Island because of Katrina. You know what I mean? That was something that actually took us up here. And, you know, I went to LSU, you know what I mean? I had buddies of mine, you know, even being mixed race like I am, I had friends that, you know, had Confederate flags on their walls and all that kind of stuff. And we go and hang out and you go like, how could you do that? They had a different perspective about it. So, you know, growing up, my father's very conservative in a lot of his views. My mother's very liberal with a lot of hers. So, you know, I grew up in, you know, a polarized dynamic that really caused me to kind of search out my own beliefs about things. What my take on this, and you know, my own personal opinion, is that it does have a lot of historical reference. And the challenge with that is that a lot of people don't even know the Confederate flag that a lot of people think it is not the actual Confederate flag. You know, that's the first and foremost. The Confederate flag that a lot of people know is the one that was actually brought back to resist integration of schools during civil rights. So, you know,
battle flag.
Exactly, that was the battle flag. So it does, that particular flag represents the lack of people wanting to mix and segregate and that kind of stuff. So it has a specific historical reference that a lot of people mix with a different flag, you know, which is one context. Being a creative and being someone who writes and does artwork and that kind of stuff, I don't believe in censorship when it comes to the freedom of speech. And when it comes to being able to express yourself either in historical context or in belief context, people really have to be able to say what they need to say, because that's what sparks the conversation, that's what gets people, you know, to understand where each other is coming from, and that's what, you know, builds context. It's when people feel isolated that they do things like the guy did, you know what I mean? It's when he feels isolated from people and, you know, they associate to whoever will give them that, you know, that feeling of togetherness, and a lot of times that will be, you know, very, you know, isolated groups and hate-driven groups and that kind of stuff that build that context. So, you know, historically, just understand the, you know, full ramifications. I don't believe in flying it over government buildings and all that kind of stuff because of what it represents. A culture will always decide what's appropriate for itself. You know what I mean? But in terms of freedom of speech, I think that's something that makes America great, is that we have that ability to creatively express ourselves in lots of different forms and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I 100% agree. I think that's well said.
Thank you.
That's why we have him on as a guest.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take our break. We're ready to go. We'll be right back. We came from the radio.
Hi, this is Amory. You've heard my voice open and create the show. Now you have a business.
Oh, I want to go
with us.
so and pull that guy's lungs out.
Oh,
Because I know he doesn't have a heart.
We're still recording.
What?
We're still
For more
recording.
information,
We are still recording.
MFC
Over there.
I want to go and pull that guy. I'm sorry, you want me to say it clearer? I want to go.
Don't censor
Pull that
Right.
him
We just discussed it, right?
some piece of crap like that to do something to those wonderful human beings. Right? Come and get me. I welcome it.
So we got the Punisher for that, right?
Yeah. Come, I'll be back.
Yeah.
But you're not the Punisher.
Close enough.
Okay, you alright with that? Did I say it loud enough? Was it okay?
Don't try to censor Charlie.
No trial.
Yeah, I didn't know. This is the political debate.
No trial.
Usually we don't, but because it kind
No,
of
it's got
that
so
we-
much. No, you're absolutely right.
I mean, I go to church every Sunday, and I think of that now.
Yeah,
When I go
no,
to
it's a
church.
shame, right?
Like,
So nice.
but then I do get.
Say we can move this all right there a little bit.
Oh,
There we go.
oh, we should yank on. What a
There you go.
Having that balance, you know what I mean? Having that balance to say, okay, this is a horrible thing, let's isolate this area.
Having that play, that guy knew what he wanted. I mean,
Absolutely.
and it's not the Civil War was about slavery. South wanted slavery, I was saying one, and it was about economics. So if he wants to use that, yeah, I don't think for the soccer it should be flying over any political, because this is now American anthem flag. All right, so we should have one people. It's I see this makes me so happy.
We used to have jokes because we're just ahead of our time. You know, people are gonna keep doing each other. That's not gonna stop. And so eventually everybody will kind of be mixed in some kind of way, you know.
We already are.
Yeah.
Think about it, we all are.
Well, that's the thing. They said that most whites and blacks in America that feel that they're just African American or just Caucasian American, like they don't realize there is probably anywhere between 10 to 25% mixed with another race, and it's just every single African American is mixed. It's like a weird dynamic. So. But I think it's social media and everything that brings stuff to light and exacerbates it. It's like all of these problems have been under the surface, but now we just get to see it, and we get to see it instantly. Everybody gets to weigh in on it. That's a different dynamic, you know. So
10 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Wow, that was hot. Now, back to our show.
And welcome to King Hunter Radio. This is your host, Mark Torres, speaking on with Charlie Saladino, and Hassan Galvin on the phone, and our special guests, Daniel Velez and Eric Hutchinson in the studio. The music was from I Shine, which is done by Johnny Young Bosch, who's my favorite Power Ranger, Adam Park, and I got a CD, and it's from his music, which is pretty darn good.
I like it.
Yes, that
Actually.
is I Shine was the name of the band, so anybody wants to go check it out. Alright, so today we're going to be talking, as I mentioned before, with and about our two guests, because we had a Dana in here one time before when I wasn't here. And so you and Charlie and Hassan did a fine job.
And we did pretty good without you.
And then
I do agree. They did well. Very well.
And then you were like, I want to come back and I want to bring more people with me. So like, come on back and let's bring more people. So why don't you just let people know who you are in case they missed that episode, and then introduce your own guest and well about his convention altogether and his company and all that stuff.
Ah, nice. Thank you. All right, my name is Dana Velez, and I am a cosplayer and model from New York City. To my right is Eric Hutchinson, president of Indian Studios, and an amazing, brilliant person. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
IBM, is that what it's called?
Indian.
So why don't you explain it? What does that mean?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of rumors going around about the meaning of that thing. We wanted something simple, it was 3 little words, NED on, so we figured it was catchy enough, and it really comes from inspiring beyond all of the just all of the things that kind of weigh us down creatively. I originally, in high school and stuff, used to draw and do artwork and wanted to do comics. And then, you start talking to people and they're like, hey, you're not going to be able to eat, And I was like, oh, okay, I like eating. That's a good thing. And so I decided to go into computer engineering. And a little bit of a difference, but I really want to be able to fix, my gaming systems, and I used to build computers for people and that kind of stuff. So I figured, this might be something pretty cool and fun. And I did that for a bunch of years. I worked for the University of New Orleans when I was down there. And then Katrina happened, and kind of wiped us out a little bit. I lost a lot of friends and family, and it was a really tough time. But what I think it did for me is it gave me a perspective about life that a lot of people don't seem to have. And it's just, it challenged that belief structure and understanding of how short this time is, how fragile it is, and how you really have to make core decisions that allow you to experience it, the way you really want to. And so that's kind of the foundation behind the company and what we wanted to do. So I went right back to my comics roots, after a couple of years of doing IT training and that kind of stuff. Got to work with some big companies and learn all the things I had, all these negative connotations to, like sales and and marketing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I realized how it all worked together, how it was all a system. And once you kind of get that, when I talked to a lot of my artist friends and that kind of stuff, that was parts of the system that were missing. They didn't, they didn't want to do the business side. They wanted to be creative. They wanted to do their craft. and all of this other stuff kind of got in the way just because we have an economic system and just because we have all these things, you know. So I was like, what if we created something that allowed you kind of enter in where you were. If you needed additional help, you know, there would be training for you, there would be partnerships. You know, if you were a writer, you needed an artist, you know, we find the kind of artist that would work well with you know what I mean, and kind of this customization place. So it literally became like this integrated sandbox that everybody can come and play in and have a good time and learn. And so that they can go on to do whatever great things they were destined to do without all of the, you know, the hoopla that gets in between all the things. So.
The thing about the show, we always have a lot of independent guys on, and they always say, don't get into it for money.
No.
And I don't know about you, Hassan, but I noticed that the next generation of comic book companies, which you would be part of, it's more of a conglomerate effort. They're always trying to help other people as opposed to just making their own thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're 100% creator owned, and that was a big thing for me when I first started developing comics and, you know, went out there trying to connect with publishers and that kind of stuff. What I noticed is that I always reference it as a harvesting mentality. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're doing something really great. I'm gonna own this, and you go over there. You know, and that's basically what was happening. I was like, that sucks. It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it's the simplest way to put it. I can't. You know, there's no eloquence with it. It really is just terrible because a lot of the creative people get circumvented by the people who have more business savvy or knowledge about those things. So my thing was to educate people enough, because I think the next generation of creatives are smarter. They're realizing that, and they're watching the previous generation going, hey, you don't own any of the things that you are part of. You know, there's a challenge there. And you know, not to be able to share in almost like your baby. You know what I mean? If anybody has kids, you know, I have a 4-year-older at home. It's like, you know, you put a lot of time and energy into them. You know what I mean? So just to give them to somebody is not something that you'll see any parent, you know, really, you know, unless they're a bad parent, do. You know? So yeah. So I mean, that was like the foundation for it, and I think that's the next things that companies really have to start thinking about. I really applaud, you know, bigger companies like Image, who have been changing their model to adapt to this, you know, creative own type mentality. You know, so it's going to be good.
So how did you and Adania? How did you guys? I'm doing a hand thing here on the webcam. Right. How did you guys meet up? I mean, cosplay.
Yeah, I actually.
Comic company. How does that happen?
Well, we did an artist-focused show last year. I've done a lot of, you know, big show. We do New York Comic Con, Boston Comic Con, you know, Baltimore. You get to travel a lot, and you know, it's a lot of fun. But I always noticed being an independent artist, being you know, somebody who's doing independent publishing or just artists in general, we are thrown into what is usually referred to as the artist alley, if you're not familiar with it. And it's usually the furthest place away from anything. And you know, it'll be dark and damp, and you know what I mean, just like a real alley sometimes. But no, it becomes cool. It was kind of a segue where the bigger, you know, shows will allow for a sector where people would be known to, you know, have independent stuff and artwork and that kind of thing, which is cool. But you know, in talking to a lot of them, a lot of times, because you know, I'm surrounded by them, so, and I am one, so you know, when we had those conversations, it was always they felt left out of some of the major parts of the show. They always felt like they were being thrown in the back. And so the metaphor of an alley became like a true representation for what was being done. So I said, okay, so what would we have to do different? And it became something where people are on even ground and allowing them to be the focus. We're not trying to be the biggest show that exists, you know what I mean, or anything like that. We're really trying to have an experience for the artists and the art fans to have that direct connection. So we implement a lot of teaching, you know, panels, that kind of stuff. The other thing that I noticed, and how Adana met, we are pro cosplay. I did not know that was a thing until very recently, that there is anti-cosplayers out there. And so until I got called it, I was like, it's like, oh, that guy, that's a pro cosplayer. I was like, what the hell does that mean? You know? Yeah. But yeah, we have these shows because we look at cosplay as an art form. you know, the amount of time that these guys put into, you know, making their costumes and, you know, putting things together is amazing. So they are artists, and so we look at this as an artist show. It should be featuring those kind of artists and the kind of artists that create the designs and characters that they love to cosplay, and that we thought that was a perfect marriage of an event. So Adina came to our very first show last year. We partnered with the Art League of Long Island. I teach there sometime on the weekends to kids. We do, you know, Photoshop training or animation or something like that. And she came to our show and she wanted to be a part of it. So
ever since then, I just saw how great and creative and innovating is something very different, and I just had to be part of it. The energy was there. It was great. And as he said, he welcomed the cosplayer in me as an artist, and no one has ever done that before. So having that kind of respect and actually that kind of support, it's very, very important just for anyone to have. Like I said, the synergy was just great, and we actually got together and started working on, okay, we're gonna do the next show, and we're gonna make it better. We're gonna welcome this pro cosplay mentality and get it out there and say, okay, you know what, artists and cosplayers can actually work together. This little war between artists and cosplayers, thinking, or the artists thinking that the cosplayers take away from the artists, and I personally just think it's very wrong.
Yeah,
it's a wrong mentality.
Yeah, you know, it comes from a staple of, you know, how you look at changes in an environment. You know what I mean? So when you see a lot more artists, you know, competing with each other, making the same kind of, you know, artwork and prints, and, you know, they're all competing with each other, but then you also see an increase in cosplay, you know, and then you're like, wait, I'm making less money at a show, maybe these things are correlated, you know what I mean? And then you start to build those attachments.
It has nothing to do with that. We are actually walking advertisement for them, because we take their artwork and we bring it to life. And I don't think that some artists get that. You know, they're thinking, okay, look at the cosplayers, you know, maybe because, like Eric said, there's an increase of them, I'm losing money, not looking at the bigger picture, thinking, okay, look at the cosplayer, they're actually cosplaying my artwork. And they're walking around, and
they're the fans.
Yeah, they're fans. That's our fandom.
We saw the growth happen as the cosplayers went up. A lot of the people that support the company and that get our prints, that get our books and that kind of stuff, they're cosplayers most of the time, you know. So, you know, I think it's just a mentality I felt needed to change. You have to be, you know, more understanding and inclusive, you know, and respectful of different people and different groups and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I found that going to conventions, like for years before you guys, that it turned into, cosplay has turned into, people who used to cosplay, like when I used to go, they used to emulate the shows that were familiar, Star Trek. Now it's the cosplayers are emulating the artists, and they are looking at the books and saying, wow, and all of a sudden the drawings go down, as you know. The drawings go down, what is this, how could I make this? And they sort of take a blueprint of your artwork.
It's like fashion design.
And create a 3D version of what you're drawing.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like as you see the increase in like the number of people doing Superman and Batman, and you know what I mean. Anytime there's a saturation, you watch where things deviate to. So now what's happening is that a lot of cosplayers are looking for artist rendering, that they're doing different types of versions of, you know what I mean? So they might do a Batman, but they might have a bow and arrow and
personally, I look at the redesigns, that's what he's talking about. The redesigns of like regular characters, thank you. Alright, one of the things that I did, my Cassandra Cain, I actually loved cosplaying her, and she's a redesign from artist Thomas Branch. And I actually reached out to Thomas when I first saw her and asked his permission to cosplay her and bring her to life, and he was ecstatic. And you know what? It stood out. It actually was the cosplay that actually boosted me out there and got me known. And it's because it was different.
And now
that's
that,
what I go for.
and now you have it going the other way around, where I know this cosplayer slash artist, Daniel Roman, who did this really edgy, almost like punk Joker. And you know, it inspired me. I was like, that's a really cool piece. I'm working on a pencils for it right now, doing that version from what he did. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's like art inspiring art.
And then that art actually inspired. I've been on a couple of groups. It inspired my DC cosplayers to do a punk group, and they did it for special edition. They had a punk Batgirl, punk Joker. Allison did.
Nice.
Yeah, Allison did Batgirl, which she did an amazing job. And Allison Hill. She's amazing.
She did.
Such a great.
We did. We did a lot of contests. So when we do the other shows, we'll do like Find Harley Quinn or something like that. So she's been our Harley Quinn, cosplayer that have actually helped with our contests and kind of boost some independent books and those kind of things.
So Hassan, do you have a question for either Eric or Dan?
Yeah. Well, it's not really a question. Or is it? Okay.
Is it a question? Is it a question?
It is a question. It's a question within a question. And an enigma under that one. The way that things are going, and the conversation you just touched on a little earlier about, and Mark made the corollary about it used to be about don't get into it if you don't want to make any money, or if you do want to make money. And it's become like a teaching thing. Mostly what I'm talking about is comic books, but we can include cosplay into it. Do you think that comic books in general is going to become, now that it's affordable for like the average person to do, and it depends on talent all over again, do you think it's going to become like a kind of guerrilla thing, like the old zine used to be, where people are going to flare up and start their own?
Yeah, absolutely. We partner with a lot of other independent studios. So, there's two kinds of people in this industry from what I learned. That's the people that look at everybody and everything like competition. All right, and then there's the people who, realize that if we work together, we will be way more powerful than if we try and separate ourselves. So, it's just two mentalities, you know what I mean? They can't exist without one another because, at the end of the day, it has to be that choice. So, human beings work on that ability to choose. And this is basically where you want to live and how you want to be. So what we've seen is that the independent books are sparking up. Because we're multimedia culture, comic books, the reason why they're growing in the independent realm is because they become storyboards for animation, for movies. The big companies, Marvel and DC, are owned by larger conglomerates. They're not going to be given up anytime, and they're not going to be needing anything else at any time. So you really have the intermediaries right now. I mean, there's lots of other, not just independent movie production studios, but I mean, plenty of other studios that are looking for that next hit, that big content hit that might turn into a franchise for them. So a lot of them have come from comic books. The amount of comic book movies that have been made over the last few years compared to, however many years ago, it's a major dynamic boom. So, it's really going to be the people who stick it out. The people, of course, who have that talent, that drive, some kind of passion beyond just a hobby. You know what I mean? This really has to become a lifestyle. It has to become, just like if you want to be a bodybuilder, you know what I mean? Like you got to do that every day. There's no qualms about it. But
so it's like farming.
It's
like farming versus being a rock star.
Right. It's like I'll sleep in today. You know what I mean? You can't sleep in on that. But no, it's a fun journey, and I think the people who keep it positive and realize that it is part of a journey will have a lot better experience with it than the people who take it too seriously or focus too much on money or focus too much on anything that's less important than their craft. If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Makes perfect sense.
And it's the same thing with cosplay as well. Cosplays, once you start thinking about the money, that's when the problem starts. Yeah, that's when you start stressing about, oh my God, I need to get this better than what I did before, and you're not enjoying yourself at cons, and you know, being a cosplayer, it's really, really hard to make money out of it to begin with. You're basically going for the cosplay famous status. You're well known, you get tables at shows, you can guest, but it's up to you to make money after that. A lot of cosplayers don't get paid to be at these shows. You know, a lot of young kids don't understand that. Like I said, it's all about what you put into it and how you market yourself and how you actually create something that somebody doesn't have and sell it at your table. So you could be able to bring in some kind of flow. But if you start thinking about that a lot and make it your focus, you're gonna lose focus on your creative side, and you're you know, you're not gonna be balanced.
I think people miss the boat sometimes because they look at money as an objective and not an effect. Because it's making money is because you did something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you, the more, and you know, I used to listen to a lot of audio tapes trying to get a grounding for like how I was going to build a company and how I was going to do all this stuff. And a lot of people that did really big things, they looked at it from a perspective, how many people can I serve? Mm-hmm. What is needed? You know, and then the money is the result from that. You know, so if you focus on building your craft and doing a really good job at it, you know, the money will come. You know, it's something I kind of...
You have to, it has to be, as we heard so many times with comic book people, it has to be a labor of love. And that's what's happening with the cosplayers as I meet more and more amazing cosplayers like Adana. I notice that their craft, they just don't go and get dressed up like the normal layman thing. They go and get dressed, no.
Charlie actually we stuck together at EternalCon. He spent some time with me on Sunday, and he got to walk around with me. He actually got a little taste of what I said, just a tiny little taste, and he was just like, wow.
It was like networking to the 10th power.
Yeah.
And it was great. it was great. I had so much fun doing that because I never liked Mark and I never liked working with conventions, but I had so much fun doing that and just seeing how much you loved your craft and what you put into it, and it was amazing. And that's why I'm saying people just don't think of cosplayers as getting dressed up. No, and people don't think of comic people as just people writing cartoons. No, these books say something. They say a lot, and the labor of love that goes into both is amazing. So you know, don't take this lightly, folks.
Well, speaking of labor of love and all the results you guys do,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you.
That was nice.
You guys gotta tell me all the projects that you guys are involved in. I know you have the IBM Con Beyond coming up. You have a charity, you have other organizations. So, who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. So tell us about all the projects you have 5 minutes, and then you have another 5 to show everything.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I have my charitable organization called Heroes, which I'm very, very proud of and work 100% on. My charity Heroes consists of taking children who are terminally ill or disabled and making them my hero for a whole year, meaning that I get to make a cosplay costume for them and take them to conventions all year round with expenses paid. If they are in the hospital, I actually go visit them physically. Like I don't send anyone, everything's me. Like for example, I have Joshua Santana, who's 8 years old. He has osteosarcoma and leukemia. Joshua, I would go visit him every 2 weeks, and I became very attached to him and his mom. Anything he needed, I did. I sponsored his birthday at the hospital because he couldn't eat. So He hasn't worked on his finger. Like, seriously, like,
And his
I mean, he's
pictures-
out of, yeah, I take pictures.
Yeah, it's on
I
your-
keep
on
a
your Facebook
picture,
page, right?
yes. I take pictures and I keep a picture blog. I actually have a website. It's ADAZAE2003.wix, which is wix.com/heroes. So take a look and let me know what you guys think. Subscribe. Also, Joshua's out of the hospital finally, and he's going to be joining us at Indian Con. I also have a second hero named Sean. He's 12 years old, and he has Down syndrome. And Sean's birthday is actually the day after Indian Con. So we have something planned very, very special for them. It's the first time that both of them will be together at a convention. And I just can't wait. I really can't wait. Eric has been so great with supporting my charity and, you know, getting it out there and just pushing me to get to the right direction and keeping me focused. So I thank him a lot for that.
No problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been really supportive of everything she's doing. We believe in it. We've gotten artists in the group to donate artwork and different types of you know, prizes and gifts for kids. And you know, and that's something near and dear, you know, to my heart as well. So I think what she's doing is amazing, and you know, we'll definitely be there to support her.
Thank you.
When is the con?
Yeah, well, we did you know, we always had this good luck with these numbers. So 8/8 is our summer edition, so August 8th, and then 12/12 is our winter edition. So we you know, try and keep everything, because we go to so many other shows, you know what I mean, we try to keep it in these kind of void areas, and you know, just have something that really produces well. Our last Indian Con was at the Art League of Long Island, but we blew out the venue. So we couldn't hold it.
You say like it's a bad thing. Well,
No, yeah. Well, no, yeah. Well,
he outgrew it.
We
That's
out,
what he should have said.
yeah. In our first year, you know what I mean. We started off as really being support. They're a non-for-profit organization, and they do a lot of helping the community with having art as an expression for either high-risk youth or, you know, children with disabilities and that kind of stuff. So I think it's something that's really important. What we did was we made them a co-sponsor of the event, so they'll always be represented at our shows no matter what. We didn't know where we were going to hold it, and we actually got contacted by Malloy College. So they have a Madison theater that, you know, seats about, I think, 700 to 1,000 people, something like that. But it's this beautiful theater. They have performances there all the time. And I started working with Adina that we're going to do plays and skits and a cosplay contest and a fashion show, and you know what I mean. It's going to be this really cool event, as well as panels from the artists, you know, where people can learn things. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Cosplay contest as well.
Yeah, that's
oh wait,
What?
don't forget about the puppet show.
Hey, but the puppet show. Yeah. You guys remember Punch and Judy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he goes like this, and I'm like, what's that? I have socks over them. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I used to watch that with my grandma. But yeah, having just things that are, you know, kind of special and unique, and takes the creativity of not only cosplayers but, you know, creatives that, you know, can build the puppets and put them together, and, you know, just have something that's different.
Yeah.
What's the website?
Website InbeonCon.com.
Spell it out.
INBEON con.com.
And that's on August the 8th.
That's on August the 8th.
How much are tickets? What time?
We have a special going on, so it's $20 for a ticket. It'll be $30 at the door, so that's a pretty big savings. Also, if people support both shows, they also save an additional $5 if they get tickets for the summer edition and the winter edition. So.
Okay, he's being very modest right now.
It sounds like
very modest.
You and I had a whole conversation. Like, he has all this stuff on
Oh yeah, he's being
But he's
very
very articulate and has a lot of stuff to say.
Absolutely.
However,
I'm
he doesn't want to
right?
promote himself here.
Oh yeah, no,
I told you I struggled with that. That was my main thing.
No, he's being very modest. He actually has a like mini-con?
Yeah,
BarCon.
it's a pre-show. Okay, shout out to my leadership team, Garrett Scalza and Will Falcone. These guys have been awesome, and Garrett fortunately came up with this incredible idea of, he asked what would make a Comic-Con better, And his answer was alcohol. So at the end of the day, for the adults, we have a pre-show event that's going to be Comic Bar Con. So it's comicbarcon.com. So really easy to remember.
Somebody gets it.
And
Thank
that's,
you.
yeah, you're welcome. And that's going to be on the 25th of this month. Tickets for that online are $10 and $20 at the door. It's going to be a really fun night. We have bands. Basically, it's bands, beer, and art. You know what I mean? So.
And tell us where that is.
That's actually going to be at the Nutty Irishman in Farming. So,
Yes, yay.
So it's going to be really
Which is amazing because that's a strip of land
Yeah.
on Main Street where people go from Croxley's to,
Yeah.
it's like a bar visiting thing.
Oh, they
So
agree.
once they catch that going on, oh yeah, I'm in there. So
No,
that
it's
should be
gonna-
nice.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We have some of the artists that are actually coming to Indiana Con. They're going to be there. They're featuring their table and having some artwork and stuff. And it's just going to be a great show.
And I'll be there.
Alright, so that's INBEON con.com.
Yes.
And then it's BarCon, comicbarcon.com.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be the Indian Con is going to be on the 8th of August, and the BarCon is going to be on the 25th of July. What time on the 25th?
25th is going to be 3 to 9.
3 to 9. Okay, so I had to make sure I get all that stuff in there. So we have like a minute and a half left. So we're going to do final thoughts. Hassan, you get the final thought because you didn't talk that much today.
My final thought is everybody learn to use the examples and get your creativity together and get it done.
Charlie, final thought?
Yeah, I just adore these two people across the table from us. They're amazing and
I'm not opposed to
they're no, I'm not. I never liked you. And just any way you can get to their websites and their Facebook, do it. You'll be amazed.
All right, Adine, final thought?
Thank you for having me on the show, guys. Like, I really do appreciate coming back and being a part of the show. So thank you. And I'll see you guys at BarCon on July 25th.
Okay.
And also IndieCon on August 8th.
Yeah. And Eric, final thought?
Just incredible amount of gratitude for you guys for having me on. So I hope I can go back at some time.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was our pleasure.
So much success for that. Make sure you guys go down there. I know we're going to be down there, and I know we have Adina coming back on the 19th for us.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, so that about does it for this week on the Came From the
Does it
Radio.
really?
Hey, Join us right every week on WGBB. If you missed any part of the show, you can go on to our
Too bad.
website, www.itcamefromradio.com. Listen to the archives will be up in a week or so. Also, since we are streaming, we're going to be putting this up on our YouTube page, so you can go check us out there on www.itcamefromradio on their YouTube page.
Yeah, by the way, I was kidding with that other
we
thing.
are doing that. And make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, ICFTR, and we'll see you next week.
Grace.
You have been listening to It Came From the Radio. with
Good show, guys. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Not necessarily
Oh, man.
All right, so we are done with another live show. We're going to put this up on our YouTube page. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook page, like us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time. We're going to be doing more live streaming events, so keep an eye on our webpage, www.itcamefromradio.com.